respected Father Principal, Reverend Father Jason, respected Father Sebastian, our financial administrator, our student Jnanish Shubhe, his proud mother, all the teachers and the dear students of class 10. As I said, today we have a very important person, I should say, who has spent time and who has come over here at a simple request of Father Principal to guide the students of 10th standard. Actually, he was our student from the KG2 to the 6th standard. And all the years we have been seeing not only Jnanish, his sister also, Samruddhi Shinde, who was our student in the 10th standard, and she was among the toppers of the 10th standard of that batch. So, in the 6th standard, he had participated in the All India Talent Search exam, and he was the All India topper in the 6th standard in that exam also. And that time he had got a cash prize of 50,000 rupees. The next year, that was in 5th standard, in the 6th standard, he again participated, he gave the exam of the All India Talent Search exam, and deliberately he wanted a laptop, so the second prize was the laptop, so he came second, All India second in the 6th standard. So his journey of success and being the topper, we have witnessed. Many of the teachers who were in the school in those years, we have seen them growing, seeing them experiencing the journey of success, and we were definitely the witness of all his success. After the 7th standard, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th and 12th, he was in Kota, and I should say, of course, the students, the children have put up their best, but the parents, especially his mother, was all the time with him, supporting. And the most important thing I should tell about both the brothers and sisters, they were so obedient, so down to earth. The respect which they had for the teachers, for the school, for the parents, that was commendable. And that is why his sister is in the government medical college. She is in the final year of the MBBS, and he has begun his journey for his professional life this year onwards. So he gave the JEE mains exam, and he was the All India topper in the JEE mains exam. His so many YouTube videos are there where he has narrated how he went through this journey and how he could get that success. So it was 100 percentile score in the JEE mains exam. So all the students who are aspiring to become engineers, you know how important that exam is, and to get an admission in the IIT colleges, which are the reputed colleges where we can have a bright future after the graduation. So there he got the All India topper rank, and in the advanced he got All India 212th rank, and now he is a student of the IIT Kanpur. So that is among the topmost college of the IIT. So his future, we know how bright it is. So at the request of Father Principal, he readily agreed to come and narrate his journey. So to welcome such a talented person, our proud Carmelite, we all should be proud of him. May I request Father Principal to welcome Jnanish. We are proud. The roots from where he began, he knows the importance of the roots. And he definitely would like some of you to get into that position. So that's why he's here. So may I request Father to say a few words on this one.
My dear children, in the assembly, I address you today, and I said, well, a person of values is going to address you. I wish to stress that word again. A person of values. Family comes first. The first school, as they say, is the family. You learn values there. If you respect your mother, if you respect your father, success is all yours. And if you respect your father and mother, you will certainly have respect for your teachers. And these things take you high up on the ladder in your life. Here we have Jnanish. Well, I have talked with him. Well, he has his pictures when he was KG2 nursery, a student here, me helping him to light the lamp, me presenting him with some prize competition. You know what? This man, young guy, is rooted in family values. He knows what school means, and he knows what teachers are, and he knows how to deal with teachers and parents, how to treat them. And I would say, and that's what he confessed, acknowledged to me. These are the things that have taken him high up in the ladder of success in his life. Let his life be a long story of success. He will certainly have it. He will always stay in my prayers too. My blessings will be always upon him. All because of what he is, what he has made himself to be. Welcome, dear. Please come.
I'm an alumnus of this school, and currently I'm in a first year undergrad at the Department of Computer Science at IIT Kanpur. First of all, I would like to thank Father for giving me this opportunity to interact with you. And let's get started. As you can read, we are going to discuss about the foundations of excellence and how I prepared, what was my journey of preparation, and how I achieved what I've achieved. So first of all, about the points I will discuss, an overview of the importance of class and board examinations, and how self-study, discipline, and health help me navigate through all of those, and what's beyond the class and board examinations. So the first and foremost, the most important thing that you need to have is a goal. Because without a goal, you don't know what you're going to do. You're just drifting around like an aimless boat. So first of all, you need to have a goal. Because why do you need to have a goal? Because achieving goals is what allows you to measure your growth. So, for example, if you have set some goal, you achieved it, so you know that you have grown as a human being and that you have achieved, and now you look forward to the next goal. And achieving a certain goal doesn't just mean that it's the end. You have to start working toward a next goal. And goals can be big and small. Big as in, for example, you want to be a doctor, you want to be an engineer. That's a final goal. But you just don't decide that I'll be a doctor and an engineer today and overnight to become a doctor and engineer. It's a long journey. So it's a long step. You cannot measure your progress in just one night using that as a unit of measurement. So you need to have small goals. Small goals are what? Your class 10th examination, acing them, your class 11th examination, acing them, then there's the entrance test, acing that. So these are small goals, and even smaller than those are, for example, you have a small test, getting good marks in those tests, that will be your goal. So you have to work towards those small goals, and they will keep on stacking up, and then you achieve the final goal. So that's the importance of having goals. It's the most important thing. If you don't have a goal, then you won't be able to achieve, and your efforts won't be directed. You will be doing things haphazardly and you won't be able to achieve anything. The power of self-study and exploration. So all of you must do some self-study. You might be going to coaching classes, you are attending school. But what I want to emphasize is after school or after coaching classes, you are left with less time. You are not left with a lot of time. So, for example, if you're given some homework in school, so you just copy the answers, or you might have learned the method to solve questions, and you just keep on doing that when you solve, when you complete your homework. But that's not the way to study. First of all, you need to understand the core concepts that are being explained in class, and you need to get a good grasp of them. Understand it, feel from your inside, like, I understand this concept, anything related to this concept, if they ask, I'll be able to answer, I'll be able to explain to someone. And once you are able to explain a certain concept to someone else, it means that you have a good enough understanding that you are able to explain it to someone else. If you're not able to explain, that means your understanding is not clear enough. And what is exploration? I'll explain it in the next slide. So, strategies for effective self-study. So, setting realistic goals. For example, you decide to do 10 chapters today. Obviously, you won't be able to do 10 chapters in a single day. A realistic goal may be 2 or 3 chapters. So, setting realistic goals is important because if your goals are too easy to achieve, you will get complacent and you won't work hard enough. And if your goals are too difficult, for example, studying 10 chapters in a day, you may not be able to achieve them, and then you will think that I am not good enough or you are not progressing. So the goal should be challenging enough so that you don't achieve them very easily, but not too difficult that you are never able. Then creating a study schedule. It's not applicable only for studying. Creating a schedule is applicable everywhere in every aspect of life. You're currently in school studying last time, so you are mostly doing studying. But when you get a job, you have schedule for your meetings or when to do work and all those things. So creating a schedule is very important because it makes you focus. For example, you have scheduled a meeting, so you know that you have to prepare for a meeting, and in that meeting you will do things related only to the meeting. So that if you revise regularly, you retain things much better. And then when you revise concepts, every time you revise something, you get a new understanding of that concept. You notice some points that you might have missed sometime else. And what is exploration? Yeah, this is the important part. Exploration means going beyond the boundaries of course textbooks and searching for things on your own. Maybe on the internet or some reference book or even scientific research. So, for example, at the time of Newton, you all know that he gave the laws of mechanics and laws of universal gravitation. So, at his time, mathematics was not advanced enough so that he could develop those laws and derive those laws. So, he developed differential calculus on his own to explain those all those laws. So, at his time, there was no differential calculus, but he developed it. So, in his case, it was scientific research, and for example, he studied some concept, you find it interesting. So, in the book, because it's beyond the scope, because in a span of year you have to cover many things, so things given in textbook are limited. But you don't have to limit yourself. If you're done with things, you can explore on your own also. Discipline, your bridge to success. Whenever you set out to achieve something, a disciplined lifestyle makes it easier. How? If you're disciplined, I told to make a schedule. So, when you make a schedule, you're disciplined. And you have to follow. Just because just making a schedule is not good enough, you have to also follow the schedule. And if you follow the schedule, because when you make the schedule, you plan things out. So if you follow your planning, you will surely achieve your goal. And balancing study and leisure time is equally important because, as the saying goes, all work and no play makes Jack a dull boy. So you're studying 5 hours, 6 hours a day, but if you study all day, you will quickly burn out. So you need to relax, you need to enjoy yourself too. So you can have fun, you can go out, play with your friends, and whatever you do for your leisure time. You can also like listen to music, that's my way of relaxation. Setting priorities. Whenever you set out to achieve something, there is always that thing, because you want to achieve that thing, so that is a number one priority. Other things, depending on this magnitude, like how they will affect you, you have to set priorities. For example, you are invited to some party and tomorrow you have a test. So you have two options, either you go to the party or you study for the test tomorrow. So if your priority is scoring good marks in this test or acing the test, then you have to sacrifice. So these are the sacrifices you need to make, they're essential. Everyone has to make those certain sacrifices if they want to achieve something, because you cannot always have everything. So you need to decide your priorities, what you want to do. Health. So as the saying goes, a healthy mind resides in a healthy body. So health is also important because if you're not healthy, you won't be able to do things as efficiently as you would have done if you were healthy. For example, if you're cold, you're studying something, you're not understanding it, you're spending time but still you're not getting it, you're not able to solve questions. So having a healthy body is very important. Adequate sleep, nutrition, exercise are necessary for a healthy body. And just as I said before, recreation and relaxation are also necessary because if you do only one thing for a time, you get monotonic and then you get bored, you're not as efficient as you were. Beyond 10th board exams. So this is the big year for you, you're giving your 10th board exams, but this is not the end of life. It just starts from here. In 11th standard, you will be asked to join different streams. Some will join the biology stream, some will join mathematics, some will join commerce. Although the streams are different, the approach remains same. How to study and how to score and how to perform well. Self-study and exploration, discipline, health are still as relevant as they were during board preparation. In fact, they are always relevant and are a key to successful life. Now, entrance test. Like you all will be giving some kind of entrance test if you want to get admission into engineering and medical colleges. So entrance test, this is the first time you will be facing fierce competition. Not like you currently are just a batch of maybe 250 or 300 students. But when you're giving an entrance test, you're competing with lakhs and lakhs of students. Facing fierce competition where losing even a single point on a test can mean the difference between getting into a dream college and program or not making it. Frustration is very common during the preparatory phase, but you have to persevere. Here the emphasis you put on understanding the concepts and having strong foundation in earlier classes will give you the edge over others. Once again, I like to emphasize that having clear concept is very important, because right now he is following a certain material, following a certain syllabus. Questions are asked from within the syllabus. But when you get a job, when you are in the field, there will be no MCQ questions, or there won't be an answer you have to learn and just you have to write the answer. In the field, you are presented with problems, only problems. You have to find solutions, and solutions are open-ended. You have to make better and better solutions. So for that, you need a good grasp of concepts, and then you also need to apply them. Just having a good grasp doesn't necessarily mean you will be good at applying those concepts. So you have to also practice application of the concepts. Some statistics to put you into perspective how fierce the competition is. Over 11 lakh candidates appeared for JEE Mains 2023, the year which I gave the exam. Out of these, only around 1,89,000 qualified for JEE Advanced 2023. And only 17,385 candidates were admitted into IITs. I guess everyone who wants to be an engineer has the dream of getting into IIT, right? And for those in medical, over 20 lakh students appeared in JEE 2023, and only 48,012 were admitted into government medical colleges. If you want percentage, for JEE it was 1.58% approximately for students those who were admitted into IITs, and for government medical college it was only 2.4%. So competition is very fierce, and even if you lose a single mark, it makes difference of like 100,000 ranks. So intimidating as it may seem, cracking entrance test is not hard, and this is where the teachers and parents come in. Teachers following the directions and learning from their experience is what makes it possible to do so. So teachers have been guiding students for many years, like 10 years, 20 years. They have lots of experience. They know what kind of mistakes students do and how to not do those mistakes, and they'll tell you some tricks and they'll explain you concepts nicely. And parents have their life experiences, and the teachers and parents are well-wishers for you. They will never want anything bad happening to you. So listen to your teachers, listen to your parents. They always want good things for you. And don't study just for the sake of it. Have fun. Like whenever you study some new science concept, don't you feel like there might be some unknown application, like it's not discovered right now, but you could be the one doing that. So don't study for like, okay, this is syllabus, you have to do it, you have to do for just passing the class. Because right now you're in the knowledge gathering phase. So you just keep on studying things, but when you get in the field, you will be able to apply those things and it will be fun. When you use some concept you studied in class 8 or maybe 6, and then you apply it to solve some big problem some companies facing. So it's good. So now you're in knowledge gathering phase. It may seem boring. Mostly it doesn't seem boring, but some people might find it boring. But in the application phase, you will find it fun enough. And lastly, knowledge is a superpower. Knowledge is the key to everything. From ancient times, whenever mankind has made a significant jump in development, it has always been a result of mankind acquiring some new knowledge. For example, our ancestors were hunter-gatherers, but when they found out that throwing some seeds and letting them grow, taking care of them results in some kind of crop, and then you can eat it. So it was the knowledge that throwing those seeds and watering them, taking care of them will result in a crop, and then you can have more food source. So that knowledge made us some hunter-gatherers that allowed hunter-gatherers to settle. And similarly, if you're using a smartphone, it uses many technologies, using semiconductors, uses wireless communication. So that all things were not there, but some humans developed it. And when I said don't just study for the sake of it, have fun, you will appreciate it more when you think from a historical point of view. Many of the technologies we're using today were not there in the past, but some human thought about it, right? So they had some knowledge built up to that point, and then they applied that knowledge. They built up on it, and now building years and years of building upon it, we have reached the stage we are here now. So even a small step, even some small contribution you make may seem small to you or the world, but in the long run, it's something. It's going to something. It's going to become something big. So just have fun. Like, don't study just for the sake of it. Yeah, thank you.
The most important thing you could experience was his fluency and his command, not only on his journey of success, but on the English language. And he knows the importance of speaking English. As he was a Carmelite, he knows that, and also father used to stress speaking English. And I think IIT, as far as what I have heard, if you are not fluent in English, the second year your admission is in danger. That is what.
The primary mode of instruction is English. So if you're not fluent or you're not good in English, you're not able to follow the lectures, and then you just keep on struggling, and then you don't get good grades. Then you're like they put you on academic probation. So that's why having a good grasp of English, being fluent in English is always a good skill. And not only about studies, but for example, in future you will go to some foreign country. So everywhere, everyone knows English, at least English. So if you go to Germany, they know German, but they also know English. So English is a universal language. So if you are fluent in it, it makes a more excellent mode of communication.
Any question to ask Nanesh? It's an open forum for the students.
And you should necessarily have some questions to ask. Necessary. Smart boys, smart girls. I'm sure you have several questions to ask you. Someone should show courage to come up with the first question, then you will have a lot many students following you. Girls, boys, anybody.
Not able to be the first in JEE Advanced.
So as all you know, it's a difficult paper, and on the day of exam, there's a lot of pressure. You tend to make mistakes. Everyone makes mistakes. And for example, there was a statistic for if you take the JEE Advanced exam again, the top 100 will shuffle. You won't see the same people again in top 100. Some might be same, but most of them will be changed, because on the day of exam, it's like everyone's level, if I can say, is fluctuating. It's fluctuating in a small range, but at the day of exam, it's just like you capture a photo at some incident, and at that point, someone was above you, someone had to learn, because many times some people try to get some flukes and they get the right answer. So in general, it doesn't mean that you don't have to study, you don't have to work hard, because in the top 500 range, there may be fluctuations, but the students of top 500 will remain in top 500. So you need to work hard and do if you want a good rank and you want to get to your dream college, you need to work hard for that. And like you will experience your JEE experience. Yeah, so you will experience it when you will get JEE Advanced.
The biggest fear that all the students are having that exams, that will I pass, and even I am going with this situation. So on the day of exam and day before exam, in which mental situation we should go in?
So okay, it's natural to get afraid of exams, but why people get afraid of exams? So basically there are many reasons, but the primary reasons are one that they're not prepared well enough, or two that even if they are prepared well enough, it might be due to some past performance that they have not performed well enough in previous exams. So that's why they fear that they won't be able to perform well in this exam. So you don't have to get afraid. Like in exams, it's just a test of your capabilities. But even if you score less in one exam, doesn't necessarily mean that you are not a good student or that you don't know things. It might be that on that day you might have had a bad day and you didn't score well. But if you work hard and if you do things as teachers instruct, surely in the long run you will get results. Because one test, I don't think it matters much if you score less.
And how we can generate confidence?
How to generate, it's not a thing like you can generate, it comes from within. Like if you are confident on your studies, if you have worked diligently throughout the year, you will surely be confident in your studies and in your preparation.
What do you think is the best time to study?
Everyone has different times to study. Like for example, during my preparation, I used to study till 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock in the night. So it's your preference. Like whenever you feel the most active and you think that you are doing the best, and you will like whatever you study you will get the most out. So it's according to you. But I guess mostly people study in the day, right? I don't think anyone will study 3 a.m. or 4 a.m. in the night.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, Lakshmi Karthik.
I am having doubt always. Most of the doubts are in mathematics. So much more fear is
That's his
to me with mathematics. So how to improve our mathematics?
Okay, so it doesn't apply to just mathematics, it applies to any subject. Like, for example, you are facing difficulty in solving some problem. Say, for example, geometry. Related to circles. I guess circles is in concept, right? So, circles. So, first you identify, you have a doubt, you're not able to solve the question, you ask your teachers to give the solution. So, you see the solution and then you identify what kind of properties are being used there. For example, alternate angle property or whatever property is being used. Then you, after identifying what property is used there, you see whether you know that property, do you understand what it means and what its application. If you don't know, then go back to the property. And while reading that property, if you come across some term that you don't know, you have to trace it back. Where is your actual problem? It might be that it's related to some concept taught in 8th standard or maybe 6th standard. It's not shameful to just go back and look into that concept. So whenever you're stuck somewhere, you find the root cause. What is the problem? Why I'm getting stuck there? So you identify that problem and then you're able to rectify it and surely then go retrace it back to the current problem. So you identified that problem was in some concept in 6th standard. Okay, you rectified that. Then jump back to the 8th standard concept. Then jump back to the 10th standard concept. So this is the way you rectify your problems. So maybe you have some doubt in some earlier class, it was left unsolved. You go back to that, solve that, and then you surely will gain confidence when you solve questions.
Frankly telling, I don't understand the 3 main subjects like math, science, social science. So what should be my schedule?
Strategy, okay? You don't what do you don't understand? Can you clarify the question?
So frankly, I was not attending online classes seriously, but from that I have problem in maths.
So you have already identified the problem. You are not serious in class. So first of all, you need to start paying attention in class so that you understand the concepts that are being taught now and in the future. And about the concepts you missed in the past class, you can talk with your teacher and discuss it, like how to rectify those, and you can just go back and do them again. Probably.
And actually our teachers are more than ready to help the students.
Yes.
And this problem, teachers also share with me, during the online classes, some students did not take the classes rather seriously. Now they have missed certain concepts. Teachers are ready to explain. Well, all that our students need to do is to approach the teachers. Is that what you
Teachers
say?
always help.
Yeah, please.
Approach them.
What tips would you like to give us for the 10th board exams to score very good marks in it?
So 10th board exams, mostly everything comes from NCERT. So thorough NCERT. Like if you have thorough knowledge of NCERT, you will do well.
Can we please go for the reference books because
Reference books, like for example, past year papers are I guess more relevant, and reference books, if you have extra time and you want to do something extra for your extra preparation.
time is very less for us. So should we prepare?
Like we should have started earlier, but right now I guess doing your NCERTs and past year papers might be
Sample papers would be enough for us.
sample papers are good.
Thank you so much.
Well,
While studying or while preparing for exams, have you ever encountered a block, like a wall? You know you're good enough, but you're not doing better, you're not getting better. So what have you done in such situations?
surely like whenever someone prepares for some exam or some kind of exam, they suffer some block. So for me, my block was my speed in mathematics. Like I was able to solve the questions, but I was not able to solve them quick enough because there is time foundation. And chemistry and physics paper are easy, so you can solve them quickly, but mathematics paper is long. So you need speed to solve that. So for that, I rectified that whenever I see a problem, I tend to explore the problem and then I start solving. I don't start it doing reflexively. Like just by seeing the question, I don't start doing calculations. So I need to I need to get in the habit to do it reflexively. So I just practice lots of problems. So I don't know what a problem is, but whenever you achieve, you are at some block, you need to identify why you are at that block. You need to identify the problem, and only after identifying the problem, you can work towards the solution. If you don't know what a problem is, then you just make random attempts and random blocks. It's not helpful. So you need to first identify your block. What is the cause of your block?
Thank you for guiding.
Will he answer your question?
What is the most realistic way to avoid the distraction and to do the time management?
Most realistic, I guess. For example, right now, like how much time? I guess 1 or 2 months for a good examinations.
Yeah.
1 month, 1.5 months. So right now you need to be focused. So to be focused, you need to avoid the distractions. So like I said before, whenever you are at some kind of problem or you are facing some problem, you need to identify the root cause of that problem. So for you, I guess distractions may be watching TV, social media, something like that. So when I identify that, okay, now my distraction is social media, so I need to avoid social media. So you might delete the apps, or maybe give your phone to your parents and tell them like give me phone only after I complete my studies or work. So you can suppose that so but yeah, that means you need to be like willing. You need to have that determination that okay, I'm giving this. Like you need to be determined enough, because some people like they think like if we give phone then we won't be able to get the phone back. So you need to have a kind of determination to give it, work hard, complete your work, and then get it back for your leisure time.
How you approach to your theoretical part in 10 board exam? Like I am facing to forgetting the memory of the theories of social science or science.
So for that, as I included in my presentation, if you tend to forget things quickly, you need to revise them more. So if you revise them more, then you won't forget them, because you forget them only when you don't look at things for a long period of time. So that period of time may be different. Some people after 1 month, some people maybe 6 months, or even after a year they remember all the things. But for you, if you tend to forget it quickly, you need to revise it. Or you can make short notes, you can do some trick, so to remember the dates, something like that. Whatever helps.
Thank you.
During 11 and 12, there are also JEE preparation. So how have you managed your time during 12 boards and your JEE preparation?
So during my preparation, I made a timetable. I used to go to classes. After coming home, I had a timetable, so I used to follow that. And I used to follow the guidance of my teachers, because teachers there are like having an experience of 25-30 years and not even that age. So they have more experience than your age. So obviously you should follow them. So I followed my teachers. I followed the content which was provided in the class. I used to work on it, do my homework, and then I just kept on doing that.
And first, the basic like 8, 9, 10 foundation is important.
Yeah, it's very important, because if you don't know basic trigonometry, then when they take components and vectors, so you won't be able to understand. You need to have some basics. Only then you will be able to understand.
And how to manage that 3 hours of boards exams?
In board exams, mostly like depends on the type of paper. For me, I used to do all the long questions first, so that like my handwriting tends to get quite messy like in the last half an hour. So I used to write all the long answers first, and then the MCQs in which you just have to write the option.
From your perspective, what do you think you did different from your other friends, so that you got selected in IIT and they could not?
Okay, so most of the people get admitted into coaching classes. They go to classes, but the thing I think I did differently is that I was diligent and I was regular, because most people they tend to get frustrated, and they like if they are stuck at some concept and they're not getting it for example 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, they tend to leave it. But I used to stick at that concept and even work on it after a week, maybe 2 weeks, and I used to leave that concept only when I was confident that like now if any question comes related to that concept, I will surely be able to answer that. So you just need, I think that the thing that I did differently was I was regular and I was consistent. I never gave up. I just kept on working. I was diligent.
Thank you.
Since we have very less time for self-study, how did you manage to do the studies?
Okay, so I don't know what your schedule or what time you're working for, and for me, I also have limited amount of time. For like during my JEE preparation, I used to have 6 hours for self-study. So in JEE there are 3 subjects, mathematics, chemistry and physics. So I used to give even amount of time, so like 2 hours each. And during self-study, like every day taught something new at class. So, and you get homework related to it. So first when I came back home, I used to revise those concepts quickly. Because surely you will make notes in class, so you revise those notes. And then you start doing problems. If you get stuck at some problem, you leave it, for example, spend 2-3 minutes on that. If you get stuck, you're not able to understand, leave that question. You complete your homework, and after completing your homework, surely you will get half an hour or maybe even 1 hour. So then you work on those concepts.
You are in Kota, when sometimes you might have experience like homesickness. How did you work on it?
Yeah, so homesickness is something that everyone will experience, but the trick is to get yourself immersed in studies. So if you're immersed in studies, you're concentrated, you don't lose your focus, so then you don't get homesick, and even you won't remember, like, it's not like you won't remember, but like you don't get the feeling that you are alone. And if you sometimes feel homesick, you can call your parents, you can talk with them, you can tell them you're feeling homesick, this will give you words of encouragement.
During this journey, there are a lot of distractions, and to overcome it, we need a strong mindset, and we need to be focused. Any tips for that, for having a strong mindset and being focused?
Strong mindset, I don't think I can give any tips, but like, what I can tell is, it's just you need to be determined enough. Like for a same person, they might like I really don't know what tips to give you for having a strong mindset. It's something just that comes from within. You need to be motivated enough. You need to have be very focused. Like I have to do this. I want to do this. I should do this at all.
And for self-study, we need to prepare a timetable. But at the starting, we feel like, why are we doing this thing? It's very boring. We are doing it in school and coaching classes. Why should we do a self-study?
Okay, why should we self-study? So, if you don't do self-study, so for example, I'm assuming that you attend school lectures and then you attend lectures of coaching classes. So, every day you're being taught something new, and over a period of month, things will get stacked up. Then, if you haven't done self-study, if you haven't done revision, then you will tend to forget things, you will tend to miss some important details in some, for example, some derivation, some theorem, or you may apply theorems in cases in which they are not applicable. There's some small details you might forget. So self-studying is when you explore all those details, you finally realize, yeah, this detail is important because if it's not there, then you won't be able to use this theorem or you won't be able to solve this question. So when you do self-study, you revise all those things and then you get to know the importance of those small things. So like doing self-study is important.
How to overcome procrastination?
So you're asking things like you cannot give it. Procrastination is like same answer. You need to be focused. You need to know the value of your time, because if you procrastinate now, then surely your work will get stacked up and then you will have less time for the same amount of work. So you won't be able to do things as nicely as you would have done when you had time. So that's the main logic, not to procrastinate, but people still. So and just you need to be rational enough to know the value of your time.
How did you manage self-study and coaching both? Like you were in Kota, so.
Yeah, so after coaching, you surely get enough time for self-study. If you don't waste your time earlier, so for example, I don't say no to don't play outside, don't do things. You first complete your work. After completing your work and after you're sure, satisfy yourself, and you should know that I have done well enough, I have completed all the things, all the work given today in the class, and then you can go out to play with your friends or whatever you want to do in your leisure time. But first complete your work, because for example, if you do leisure activities first and then you are 1 hour short of the time required to do the work, then you will do things less efficiently. And if you tend to do this every day, then things will get stacked up, then you will miss concepts, then you don't perform well in tests, and then it's like next. I don't know if you know about extinction vortex, but it's a concept in which that if you do things poorly in the beginning, things will get stacked up, and then at the end of the year, you have done everything, but you have done everything so poorly that you've forgotten concepts, you don't know things, that's everything. So you need to first realize the importance of doing work diligently, then you can do other reasons. Thank you so much.
Where can we draw the line between perseverance and passively just wasting our time?
So perseverance and passive wasting time. That's a good question. So every human being is gifted with some talent. the talents may be different for everyone, but they are gifted with some talent. Some people are just blessed in, like, if you see some mathematicians and if you read their work, you will just be blown away. Like, how can someone even think of this concept? So some people are gifted in something, some people are gifted in others. So you need to first identify what your talent is, what you're good at. For example, even after doing things for again and again for 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, and you're still not facing it, or you're still not feeling that passion for doing that thing. So you need to realize that, okay, my passion is not this, it's something else. I need to first find out my passion.
If you have not begun yet, so how to cover the whole syllabus within a month?
The only answer is you should have started earlier, but right now you have to salvage things. So first of all, make list out all the chapters you want to do, and then look at these kind of things. These are the measures you have to take. Otherwise, if you had started earlier, you would have performed well. But now what you can do is list out all the chapters and then see their weightage. Then try to cover at least 70-80% of weightage-wise percentage marks of every subject. And then, if for example you know that these 8 chapters are very important and you have 4 days, so 2 chapters a day, then calculate how much time you studied during a day, then divide it by 2. So you need to then micromanage everything if you don't start earlier. So that's the reason you should start early, so that you have plenty of time, you can do everything nicely. But if you have limited time, then you need to micromanage everything. You need to plan your day to the last minute so that you don't waste it. Because if there is very less time for the examination and you want to perform well.
I just want to ask you that which coaching is best for the JEE?
So there is nothing such as the best coaching. Every coaching has good teachers. It's just that for example, some students are academically oriented and some students are not that much academically oriented. So due to past year results, some coaching, I guess coaching X performs well in the results. So the academically oriented students see the result, okay, this coaching students are performing well. So they go to that coaching X. Then because academically oriented students went to that coaching X, they perform even better in the next year. So it's just like they performed well 1 year and then they keep on performing well next year, because the good students who are academically oriented and focus on their studies, they go to the coaching. So for example, I also saw the results and I went to Alan Kota. So it's purely up to you, it's according to your convenience. For example, if you are not able to stay away from your family, you need to say no. You can do preparations in Chandrapur also, but the key is you need to be focused. If you're not focusing just because in Chandrapur, because most students go outside for preparation. So competition is also an important part in the preparation. So in Chandrapur, there are very less number of students preparing for JEE or NEET, whatever competitive exam, and they are not serious. So you won't get good competition. So if you have good competition, you also try to do better, because you want to. No one wants to come last, right? Everyone tries to be the first. So you perform well. So in Kota, the most important thing is that you get good competition. Like all the best students from all over India come to Kota, and then they compete there. So you get good competition. So you can go anywhere where you find good competition.
During the exams, I become so frustrated and tense, and because of that, even I know everything, I do many silly mistakes. So how to avoid that?
So like everyone does silly mistake, that's a fact. So to avoid that, so for example, take boards. So even if you know everything you're telling it, you're not able to perform well. So when you face a blank during exam, you know that you know the answer, but just words that don't come to your mind. So keep your pen down, take a deep breath and drink water, relax for 1 or 2 minutes, let it calm down, and then start doing things again. So after you calm down, things will surely start coming again. But when you face it, because the block is like you're panicked, you think that there's very less time, I'm not able to write, like I won't be able to finish the paper. So yeah, people panic in that condition. So keep the pen down for 1 or 2 minutes. It will surely won't affect any of the number of questions you're going to answer further. So relax, take a deep breath, and then start again.
And during your school life, did you study mathematics daily?
Yeah, I love mathematics. I used to study daily. I even studied concepts beyond my class. So like if it doesn't necessarily mean that you have to study mathematics from today onwards. You're doing vector calculus and all those things. You need to study first your concepts. You need to make sure that you understand everything you have studied up to that point. And if you want to explore further, you can. and that I included in my presentation, that exploration part. So if you feel comfortable right now, you don't have anything else, you don't have anything better to do, you're just wasting your time on social media, so you can just do other extra things. You can study future concepts, you can study concepts.
Thank you.
If we are studying for hours and hours but we are not scoring enough as I expected, I didn't score that. So how we can improve that?
So like first of all, working for hours doesn't necessarily mean you will score good. You have already scored, for example, say 100 marks paper, you scored 70 marks. So you know that it's 30 marks, you have done something wrong, so you lost your 30 marks. So if you're working again on those 70 marks, you will surely just get like 71, 72. You need to understand your mistakes, you need to identify those mistakes, what you have done wrong. It doesn't matter what you have done right earlier, what matters most is what you have done wrong. So if you improve those wrong things, and if you correct those wrong things, then surely you will see a big jump in your score and whatever performance you have done. So you first need to always rectify your mistakes, because removing mistakes makes you much closer to your goal. If you just keep working on what you have already mastered, then you surely won't get any better in things you have already mastered. But things you not mastered.
The major mistakes that an JEE aspirant should avoid.
Major mistake is like, what kind of mistake are you talking about? Is it academically, non-academic? So for academically, whenever some concept is being taught in class or your coaching class, you need to prepare it well. You cannot procrastinate like I'll do it later, and then because things tend to get stacked up. So once things get stacked up, then the backlog grows and grows, and then you won't be able to finish. So don't miss any day. Be regular in your studies, be diligent in your studies. That is an academic thing, and non-academically is like avoid distractions. And there are distractions, but you need to be determined well enough to avoid distractions.
Thank you. I guess my question is that there is some mental stress and mental pressure when you are clearing such an exam. There is that pressure. So how to overcome that?
So everyone gets to get stressed. So like for me, I used to listen to music. It used to calm me down. So you need to just find your thing, like whatever calms you down, like doing that activity for like maybe half an hour a day, it tends to get you relaxed. So for after studying like 4 or 5 hours, you get bored, you get stressed. So you get more on it, most probably. So do that activity which relaxes you and then continue on it. So you need to find some hobby, and that's what I included in my presentation also. The relaxation and recreation is also essential. So you need to find that.
And so I really wanted to say that you are really inspiring for me and many of like my friends, because clearing JEE is like not easy, but is not impossible yet. So it's like really inspiring to see such of like guys like you who are clearing such exams, and it's really inspiring for me. Thank you.
What major tip would you like to give to be succeeding board exams for an average student?
Board exams, like I already included it, but you need to, like, it's an exam, it has some set syllabus, you need to cover those topics. You first list out weightage wise all the chapters, then you decide your target. If you know that you're currently at say 50%, so your target is getting at least 90%, for example. So then you need to list out 90% weightage worth things, and then you need to cover those all systematically. So that's because it's an exam, so if you ask questions, so you need to know how to answer questions. So you need to cover the syllabus. It's the only way. Like I don't know any.
Thank you.
Well,
My sister once said that to crack board exams, we should first understand the lesson, then make notes of it, and then practice a lot about that lesson. Do you agree?
yeah, I agree.
How many percent?
It's a binary thing. Either I don't agree or I agree. It's not a percent. Okay, but I agree.
Did you make notes?
Yeah, I used to make notes. Like for every chapter, I used to make some short notes, and because for instance, take example NCERT, like every word, like these words are not important, right? You need to know that main word and what it means. If you know, surely you have good enough English skills that you can express yourself in examination. You just need to know the keywords. So I used to make short notes like that, and whenever there used to be an exam, I used to revise those things. And after revision, go to the example. Right?
How should we make notes for each lesson? Can you tell about each lesson?
For example, take example magnetism. So for magnetism, you will surely have some laws, the definitions of laws, and some numerical like how to make short notes. Like you will understand, you will know what is important for you. For example, you tend to forget something, so it's important for you. So you would include that in your short notes. If I have good memory, I don't tend to forget those things, so I only include things which I find effective. So it's entirely subjective what you find difficult and what you tend to forget. So you have to include those in your short notes. Like every person's short notes may differ. They may differ very.
Thank you for clearing so many doubts our students have, and I hope now you definitely have got an inspiration, and the aspirants of JEE should definitely take the example. And it's not an easy task. We all have seen what is the percentage of the students who get admissions in government colleges. So being an IITian is itself a big achievement. From all of us, on behalf of all of us, for the principal, teachers and all of you, I extend best wishes to Gnanish. His future is definitely going to be a bright one, but he is basically a Carmelite that he knows, and we are proud of him. So to express our gratitude and love for Gnanish, we have a memento, a token of our love for him, and wishing him best wishes. May I request Gnanish to come, and may I request for the principal to give him a memento for spending his time coming and realizing that here the roots are in Carmel Academy. Thank you, and thank his mother also for spending the time. We had to call him in the morning, and he has spent a lot of time with us. So definitely he would like someone among you also to be a student like this to guide your coming generations. So best wishes to all of you also, and thank both of you for coming here. Thank you.